Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. It's one day left until Paris Saint Germain versus Tottenham Hotspurs in the UEFA Champions League, and obviously, I'm really excited for this game. What we have in front of us is the game preview of the game. We're going to take a little bit look at Spurs, their lineup, same with Paris Saint Germain, and a cheeky prediction at the end of the game. Paris Saint Germain will be playing Tottenham Hotspurs in match week 5 of the UEFA Champions League group stage. So when this game is finished off, we only have 3 group stage games left. The game is obviously going to be played at the Parc des Princes. You can pause the video or the cheeky time zones. Spurs are coming in with not the best form into this game. 2 defeats, 2... No, so actually 3 defeats, a 1 draw, and 1 victory in their last 5 games. And the only victory they have is Copenhagen, at home. But they lost 4-1 to Arsenal, 2-0 to Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, I think. 1-0 to Chelsea, which was an awful game, and then drew 2-2 to Manchester United. They obviously were 2-1 up. They liked scoring a last-minute goal at the end, but Spurs are not coming in with good form. Defensively, they look poor, and offensively, they look poor. They obviously lost 4-1 recently versus Arsenal FC in the Premier League, and I watched like 30 minutes of that first half and the mentality of the Spurs team. I saw the stuff that happened right after the Chelsea game, Van de Ven and Jed Spence refusing to shake hands with Thomas Frank, and as I mentioned, I think it's the wrong thing to do just in front of the cameras. I think in the locker room, you can go to Thomas Frank, don't shake his hand, talk with him, criticize him, scream, whatever you want. But in front of the cameras, you don't really do that. But that just shows the frustration in the Tottenham Hotspurs players. You know, last season under Ange, majority of the season, they were playing the most attacking football possible, which a lot of people criticize, to be fair to them, but now they're playing terroristic football, and it's absolutely disgusting. There's a huge difference between attacking football and losing and defensive football and losing, because when you play attacking football and lose, at least after the game, you would say, you know, we try to play football. But when you sit back and defend and lose 4-1 to your arch rivals and barely create a single chance for the entire 90 minutes, you feel absolutely depleted and disgusted with yourself. And this is definitely going to continue into the Paris Saint Germain game. These are the missing players for Spurs in this game: Kulusevski, Madison, Johnson, and Solanke. Madison and Kulusevski have been out for the entire season so far, so they're not going to be missed really in that sense, but they're obviously the two of Spurs' best players, 2 playmakers, which they badly lack in this team. Johnson is suspended. He got a red card in the Copenhagen game, and Solanke, I don't really know how long he's been injured, but he's going to be out. Vicario starting in the goalkeeping spot for Spurs in this game, with Pedro Porro, Itogi, Danso, Van de Ven, and Romero in the defense for Tottenham Hotspurs. Bentancur and Palinha in the pivot, and up top, Richarlison, Xavi Simons, and Kudos. And they're going to play a 5 at the back. This is basically what we saw in the UEFA Super Cup game, apart from Pape Mate Sarr, if that's his name, instead of Xavi Simons, and they played a 3-man midfield. So they were even more defensive in the UEFA Super Cup game. But this is what I'm predicting. I think Xavi Simons has to start this game. There's a reason Spurs spent 70 million. And I think Xavi Simons really would absolutely love to participate in this game versus his, previous parent club in Paris Saint Germain. But yeah, it's a simple 5 at the back. You got the 2 fullbacks, the double pivot, the 3 centre-backs, 2 half wingers, and the striker up top with the goalkeeper at the back. Nothing really more to say about that. Weaknesses, I would say Pedro Porro defensively. We should definitely attack that with Nuno Mendes and Bradley Barcola. Only playing 2 midfielders, with us having 3. Kangili potentially dropping, Khvichek Kvaratskhelia potentially dropping, Nuno Mendes and Warren potentially inverting. I think we should be dominating the middle of the pitch as well. Looking at strengths, Kudos, maybe Vicario, maybe Van de Ven and Romero on the defense, and maybe Xavi Simons if he really is ready for this. But I do want to mention, this is a predicted lineup that I saw from some Spurs thing, that they potentially could play a 4-3-3. Just wanted to put some, interest into it. It's going to be Odobert on the left wing, Xavi Simons in the midfield. A way more attacking lineup with Randal Koromani starting the game, as he just came back for Spurs going into this game. So this could be really interesting. Maybe putting some unpredictability towards Paris Saint Germain. And I think if Spurs play 4-3-3, we could have a really enjoyable game end to end. Maybe they press us, maybe we press them. We could have a really enjoyable game. But I still predict them to play the 5 at the back going into this game. And my ones to watch is Xavi Simons. Not that he's going to have a great game, like I'm going to bet money on it, but more in the sense of this is a game for him. This is the game for Xavi Simons. I mean, when the draw was made, yes, people said Colomwani facing PSG, but nobody cares about that. It's all about Xavi Simons. You know, he left Paris Saint Germain because he thought the grass was greener on the other side. Let's see if he can prove that. And, you know, he's not been good so far at Spurs, but this is definitely a game to, you know, if Xavi Simons cooks in this game, Spurs fan and most Premier League fans will forget about his bad start to the season and be like, yo, he just fucking cooked against Paris Saint Germain. It's very hard to find more valuable stuff than cooking against Paris Saint Germain. Going into Paris Saint Germain, we've won 3 of our last past 5 games with 1 draw and 1 defeat, 2 victories in our last 2 games versus Lyon and Le Havre, with Le Havre being our best Ligue 1 game so far this season. So coming in with some confidence, and as I mentioned, the Le Havre game was our best Ligue 1 game of the season so far. Really impressive performance from Paris Saint Germain, individually, collectively, managerially, substitutedly. It was a really great and enjoyable game to watch. And Paris Saint Germain will obviously be missing Achraf Hakimi and Desiree Doué 100%. And Ousmane Dembélé, with the positive reports, he will be in the squad. Dembélé will not be starting the game, but he will definitely be coming off the bench, especially if needed. So that's some great news for Paris Saint Germain going into this game. Lucas Chevalier is obviously set to be the goalkeeper for Paris Saint Germain in this game, with Warren Zaïre-Emery taking Achraf Hakimi's spot as the right back position, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno Mendes in the defense. Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves complete the midfield 3 for Paris Saint Germain in this game, with Kangin Lee, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia as the false 9, and Bradley Barcola up top. Yes, I think Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is going to be the false 9. We did discuss this on the post-match podcast versus Le Havre, and you know, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia came on as a false 9 versus Le Havre, and that gave me the indication that's what Lucho is going to do this game. Kangin Lee is obviously going to be on the right. Bradley Barcola is going to be on the left. You know, he has a little bit more freedom, and I think Khvicha and Barcola are going to change position occasionally between the left and the striker position. But this is basically going to be the lineup with the ball. Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno create the 3-man defense. Neves and Vitinha in the midfield. Bradley Barcola, Warren Zaïre-Emery holding the width, with Kangin Lee and Fabian in the half spot and Khvicha up top. Nuno Mendes will obviously push up, which will lead Vitinha, Neves, or Fabian to drop. He can be in the midfield, he can go into the space, or he can go out wide, and Barcola goes into the space between the striker and the left winger. So, obviously, it's a very great lineup for Paris Saint Germain going into this game, and I'm putting expectations on everyone. Lucas Chevalier just had his best game at Paris Saint Germain. Let's let that continue. Marquinhos, prove that you should start ahead of Zabarni. Pacho, just do Pacho. Nuno Mendes, continue to prove that you're the best fullback of all time. João Neves, no, Vitinha, just do the usual cooking session with 99 passing accuracy and 16 progressive passes and 10 out of 10 long balls. João Neves has been in incredible form this entire season. He's been injured, so I haven't seen him that much. 2 hat-tricks, Paris Saint Germain top scorer. Will he get another goal? 6 goals in his last 5 games. Warren Zaïre-Emery, ever since that Strasbourg game, he's been absolutely immaculate. And even as a right back, he's been really good in his past 2 games versus Lyon and Le Havre. So hopefully that just continues. Kangin Lee, Fabian Ruiz. Kangin Lee has been really incredible in his past 4 games for Paris Saint Germain in all competitions. So hopefully that form continues into this game. This is going to be a big game for him to prove himself. Bradley Barcola got his first goal in, I believe, 7-9 games. Last game versus Le Havre. Got the new look without the mustache. So hopefully it's a new Bradley Barcola going into this game, because I badly need him to score. I think Bradley Barcola, for his own sake, badly needs to score. Fabian Ruiz didn't obviously start the Le Havre game, but Fabian Ruiz, Genio, has been one of our best players so far this season. Probably the most underrated player in the world alongside William Pacho. So I definitely hope the absolute best from Fabian Ruiz in this game. And Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, he's my ones to watch up this game, as he's been in many Champions League games, with us missing Dembélé and Desiree Doué in many of them. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia has to take that main role, and him playing as a false 9 is huge. Ever since we signed Khvicha, I've always discussed the potential idea of him playing as a false 9, because he plays more centrally in the Georgian system. They basically play more of a 5-3-2 with him and Mikawitze up top. Khvicha can still go to the left and so on, but that's what I want to see at Paris Saint Germain. I want to see him more involved in the game, have more freedom, linking up on all the sides and taking more shots. He took 5 shots in the Le Havre game in barely 25 minutes, which is the most shots he's had in a game so far this season. So I'm expecting Khvicha Kvaratskhelia to have a top game. I'm expecting him to end the game with the MVP. Tell the world who you are. Just like you did in the Atalanta game, first Champions League game of the season. And here's my prediction. It's a 3-1 victory for Paris Saint Germain. I would love to predict a clean sheet, but as we've seen, sometimes we don't get the clean sheet. So I'm giving Spurs 1 goal. For Paris Saint Germain, 3 goals would be great. And I think that's what I expect from Paris Saint Germain. Yes, we're missing Ousmane Dembele from the start. Yes, we're missing Desiree Doué and Achraf Hakimi. But this is still a great side. And after the Bayern defeat, we definitely need a message. We definitely need a reaction. And after that 3-0 versus Le Havre, I think the spirit, the energy, the intensity levels have never looked better so far this season. So I think Paris Saint Germain are absolutely ready for this game, both mentally and physically. And 3-1, maybe after the game will be like, maybe I underrated Paris Saint Germain a little bit. And who knows, maybe Spurs do something interesting. Maybe they pull up with the 4-3-3 and it becomes a hectic game and a tight game. I definitely don't believe that will happen. I think Paris Saint Germain will be the dominant side for the entire 90 minutes, and we'll get the 3 points, we'll get the 3 goals, and win this game. That's been it from my boy PSG. And hopefully, guys, have enjoyed this preview. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below between Paris Saint Germain and Tottenham Hotspurs in the UEFA Champions League. Hopefully, guys, have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, allez, allez Paris.